Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. We have something again a little bit different in so much as we're not looking at a computer today, we're looking at a computer peripheral. Now in the olden days, when I was a youth with less grey hair, we used to have disk drives, and those disk drives for Commodore machines were pretty slow, painful to use, and well, they were reasonably reliable, but they were just slow as hell. Now in this modern day, we don't want to wait for that sort of nonsense anymore. We want fast drives. So what do you buy if you've got a Commodore 64? Well, you buy an SD to IEC and then discover that some programs won't load. So you start looking for other options, and what options are there? Well, there are cartridge emulation devices like the flash drives, and then you have the 1541 Ultimate, or U1541. Now they cost many hundreds of pounds and they're not that easy to get hold of. So what other options are there? Well, one new or fairly new option is the Raspberry Pi 1541 Top Hat. And what is a top hat? Well, a top hat, in simple terms, is a hat for a Raspberry Pi. So this is a Raspberry Pi Model 3 version B from 2017 it says on it. I don't think it was quite that long ago, but it might have been. So this is the top hat, and the top hat connects onto the Raspberry Pi like so. And what do we have now? Well, now we have a fully emulated, cycle exact Commodore 1541 disk drive that doesn't need disks. So what do you do with it? Well, you power it up, connect it to your Commodore 64. That's the drive I/O cable. Power it up as normal and put your images on the SD drive. And this will give you a cycle exact Commodore disk drive. Now I believe one of the recent enhancements is that it can run on a Raspberry Pi Zero. I haven't tried that. In fact, I haven't actually tried this, but very shortly I'll be putting the software on the SD card, powering this up and having a little play with it, and probably doing a stream in the very near future showing this thing working. Now it not only works on a Commodore 64, it will work on a VIC-20, a Commodore 128, a C16 and even a Plus4. All you need is the image on the SD card and some D64 images. Now what I said earlier was that this device is cycle exact, and what that means is that unlike the SD to IEC, because it's Pi based, the ARM chip in the Pi will emulate, or the software will emulate anyway, the I/O chips built into the Commodore disk drive and the 6502 CPU. So what you have here is pretty much an emulated computer in a Pi. Now that's nothing unusual. There's been many emulators on the Raspberry Pi, but it's the first time I've seen a disk drive, I think, for the Raspberry Pi. So this should mean that the fast loaders will work, that non-cracked original disk images will work for the first time. Now whether it runs at the same pace or not, or if there's any enhancement, I don't know. I suspect it will run at exactly the same speed as a Commodore 1541, which is to say painfully slow. But we will be having a look at this when I finally get it set up. We shall have a play, get this thing going and see what it does. Now what I'm hoping is that this will allow me to select disk images with that rotary switch, and the little LCD there will tell me what images are selected. Not sure what they do yet, but I'll soon find out, I've no doubt. And I'm hoping it will allow me to run various programs in CP/M on the Commodore 64, as well as non-cracked original games on the Commodore 64. Now most games I used as a kid, apart from the handful that I bought, were generally speaking cracked cassette games. Years later I did buy a 1541 disk drive, and I had at that time quite a few original games for it, but until now I haven't been able to play them unless I connect a real disk drive. So it will be interesting to see how this performs, how it works, and I'm looking forward to giving this a go. So where can you find these? Well, you can find them on eBay. They're not particularly expensive. I don't know what this was. It was £15 or something. Let me have a quick look now and I'll see what the current prices are. I might be talking rubbish. Right, a Pi 1541, the current pricing is £20 including £4 postage, and that will give you the top hat that you see here. It won't give you the Raspberry Pi, you need to supply that yourself, and you need to copy the image onto that yourself. So we'll be doing another video where I do this, and we'll be having a little look at this working and see what happens. I'm quite excited and quite interested in seeing this go. Right, that'll do for me. Thank you very much. I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.